without further ado, Trudi Watkins-Johnson. One of the most exceptional luxury realtors that I've had the opportunity to work with now for quite some time. Thank you very much for taking the time, Trudi, to discuss the Eagle Cliff Lodge, one of the most incredible luxury real estate opportunities that currently is available, in my opinion, and I appreciate you discussing the Eagle Cliff Lodge as the consultant that you are with the owners and with the property itself. So happy Friday of 4th of July weekend.
Same to you, Judd. It's my pleasure to talk to you about this incredible property. I'm not the listing broker on it. I'm a consultant for the owners, and they have been lifelong friends of mine for the past 40 some years. And I have to say, this property is such an exceptional piece of art that it's almost impossible to describe.
Very well. So, one, I did not realize that you had been such dear friends with the fabulous owners, who obviously I had the opportunity to speak with about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And before we dig into it, a little bit about the Columbia River Eagle Cliff Lodge is a private residence. It's an elegant collaboration between architect and builder, a floral expert, and the grandest designer of all. I love this line, Mother Nature. It's a thoughtfully conceived and constructed with the finest of natural materials, and the house really is, as you'll dig into, Trudi, it's a retreat where one can live, play, work, entertain. I mean, I love talking about the entertainment capabilities with the Eagle Cliff Lodge up on the Columbia River, and I'm looking at the new 2-page spread that was created, and it's just so beautiful, and the story behind it, the background. Again, we'll dig into it, but just a few more bullet points. The Columbia River Eagle Cliff Lodge listing price of $4,250,000, 5 acres, over 6,000 square feet, 4,600 square feet of deck, 4 bedrooms, 5 baths, multiple fireplace, spacious office wing, spa with a steam room, dramatic rock water wall, 5-car garage parking, close to jet service, in this amazing location, 200 feet above sea level, overlooking the majestic, is one way to put it, Columbia River in Longview, Washington, just a stone's throw, for the sake of conversation, to Seattle and many fantastic locations up there. So all of that being said, Trudi, and for those that have seen the 2-page spread or have heard the previous podcast, you knowing the owners the way you do, and knowing this residence, this private residence, the way that you do, Trudi, let's explore some angles that you know this listing the way that others really don't, and through your eyes of being such a seasoned luxury real estate broker for quite some time.
Well, I've personally had the opportunity to stay at this residence numerous times while my daughter was attending PA school up in Hillsboro, Oregon. And when Kelly ventured up to the Pacific Northwest, we're like, wait, we don't know anybody up there. And then I realized that LD Smith had been a client of mine for many, many years when I was a river outfitter. And so we contacted LD, and he helped us get Kelly settled in the Hillsboro area, and essentially opened up his house to our family. So when we would travel up to visit Kelly while she was in PA school, we would stay at the Smith's residence. And I distinctly recall, driving to the location for the very first time, and I'm a mountain person, and have lived in the mountains my entire life, but going up to the Pacific Northwest, there's a big difference between the forests of Colorado and the forests of the Pacific Northwest.
Very big difference. Very big difference.
The size of the trees and the dense forest. And as you approach the Eagle Cliff Lodge, that's what you drive through. You drive through this incredible, enchanted forest where the light, it's so dense that you would have a hard time walking through the forest, essentially.
Right.
But you're on this private road, and as you enter onto McAdams Avenue and you drive down this road, and then you enter onto the private drive up to this property, it's just like magical. I'm not sure magical really describes the feeling that you get. It's like, wow, what kind of an adventure am I on? And then you come into this open setting, and you instantly are able to see this estate and see the Columbia River. And, every direction that you look just gives you such a serene and peaceful feeling. It's like, wow, very few homes have I ever stepped foot in. Have I ever had that feeling evolve? And then as you walk in, then your senses are totally what is the word I'm searching for? Your senses are like come alive almost, and you walk in and my mouth almost dropped when I walked in. Now, LD had, for the 3 or 4 years that it took him to build this property, he had always said, you've got to come up and see my cabin in the woods. And so
my cabin.
In my mind, I'm thinking of Rocky Mountain log cabin-ish type of property. Right. And it is no more a cabin in the woods than it is a yacht. It's the finest luxury property. The 20-foot by 20-foot rock water wall just takes your breath away. And LD is an architect by trade, and it's the most unique design, and they incorporated timber framing with stone masonry and walls of windows to let in the natural light, and everywhere in the house has a panoramic view of something that pleases your senses. Pictures don't do it justice. It's a place that somebody really needs to visit and experience by being there. It's perfectly laid out. Many homes have tiny rooms, or you feel enclosed in, but you have a 23-foot ceiling height in the great room. The great room is 40 feet by 60 feet, and there's room for private conversations. In such a massive space, you would kind of feel perhaps lost, but every area of the great room has a really warm and cozy feeling that you have to feel. You just have to see it to feel it. And we've got terrific photography. They've got a beautiful video of the property. But the biggest thing, I truly believe that what will sell a prospective buyer on this property, is spending time there. it's a it's so hard to describe. From architectural perspective, my husband is a general contractor. I've been a builder's wife for years. And as a broker, I've walked into residences and I always look at it from a builder's perspective. I always look to see how the joints are mitered and
Right.
how the tile is laid out. And I couldn't ever find anything wrong with this property. I could not pick out a flaw in any corner, in any detail. It's so perfectly built that words, defy description. It's a place that once you go there, you never want to leave.
Very well said. And obviously the video, the photography, etc. Much of that can be found at ColumbiaEagleLodge.com. And really, what this private residence opportunity that is the Eagle Cliff Lodge, what it presents to someone is the opportunity to live in a majestic, to use the word that you use and the marketing team uses, to live in this majestic, unparalleled, really, residence with, complete privacy, and be on vacation by simply living in this residence, to be on vacation, to be on a luxury retreat, to be living your life to the greatest possible level of enjoyment that you can, while still being able to, of course, due to the way that the home was so intelligently constructed, having your areas for executing all of the work you need to from home, and also being in such close proximity when you do unfortunately have to leave for whatever reason, to jet service, major airports, etc. I mean, this really is for the person or the family, the couple, whoever it might be, that desires to live in the beautiful, spectacular Pacific Northwest. I mean, there really is no more, there is no greater opportunity than the Columbia River Eagle Cliff Lodge, in my opinion.
One of the things that I love about the location is that you're a world away from everything, all the stressors of life, but you're so conveniently located to Portland. It's an hour's drive from the Portland airport. Likewise, many times when we were there, we'd say, "Hey, let's hop over to the Washington coast area or the Oregon coast area." You could be at Cannon Beach within a 45-minute drive from the house, or Long Beach up in Washington, and playing in the waves, or traveling up and down that coast and visit every little city. Astoria is a great place I found some of the best fresh cooked salmon I've ever eaten in my life at a small restaurant in Astoria. It's just, you can get out and connect with the world and then retreat back. It's got great cell phone service, great internet connectivity, and with forethought. Many houses are not thought about future development or design, but the Smiths went above and beyond and designed this house with thoughts that, well, someday they may want to install a lap pool. And so in the construction phase, LD put in all the infrastructure. So all you have to do is take some of the decking boards off the deck and have the final finishes on a pool installed. All the infrastructure is already there. Somebody who would be interested in helicopter service. There's 2 different places on the property that would be ideal to establish a helicopter pad. You know, I see that this house has so many options to a would-be buyer, from a corporate management retreat to
Right.
a brainstorming session, a strategy session. Um, uh, just being in such an inspired environment only can contribute to somebody's creativity and help focus in on strategic planning for whatever business purpose would be there. It would be a great boardroom meeting environment.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. It could be an incredible opportunity for a business, regardless of the size of it, to utilize to purchase the Columbia River Eagle Cliff Lodge and utilize it for a corporate retreat, put in a helipad, put in the lap pool as well. And that's an exceptional idea, Trudi. It is. Kudos.
Well, it also has room. You got to keep in mind you are built up on a cliff. I'm sure that there are zoning restrictions, but I could easily see, knowing, watching when they developed the Flight for Life helipad on top of a hotel in Vail, Colorado, and I'm like, there is a specific site that you could easily, design a helipad on this property and be within minutes of the Portland airport. You're only 2.5 hours from the Seattle airport and the commerce and everything that takes place up in the Seattle area.
And then also let's talk about proximity for those that are avid skiers and whatnot, and snowboarders, the proximity to the ski opportunities in the area.
Right. You're 10 minutes off of the I-90 corridor. And so getting around, you're right. I think it's roughly 30 miles, maybe, from the Oregon-Washington state line. Longview itself is just a charming, quaint little town. The center of the town is Sacagawea Park, and it's a mile-long lake in this park, tree-lined, absolutely beautiful. Got very, very, very friendly people. It's a lumber town. There's a major lumber mill in Longview, but there are many, like LD commutes from. He was working on a project up in for Amazon up in the Seattle area, and so the proximity to everything in the Pacific Northwest can be had at this location. I know many people do not understand or realize where Longview, Washington is possibly, but it's an absolutely ideal location for working from home remotely, but being able to access within an hour's time, jet service to anywhere in the world.
And for someone that no longer needs to quote unquote work, it's an ideal location to live, again, literally as though you are, for the sake of conversation, on vacation in one of the most beautiful areas in the United States, if not the world.
That's absolutely correct. absolutely correct. Um, when I've traveled in the past, and when I have friends travel, I always ask them, well, what did you like most, and would you go back? And I found myself going back to the Eagle Cliff Lodge, just calling up the Smiths and saying, hey, are you guys open for a visit? Because it's such a great environment. And I myself have personally done business at that property. I show up there and ended up putting a house under contract in Colorado while I was there. Um, and it's the kind of place like, wow, it's been 5 days and now I have to leave and I'm not ready to leave.
They were saying that the last time we spoke, that they've had guests that have extended their stay consistently.
Well, that would be me.
You would be one of those.
one of their guests, but they are such gracious hosts. And, the kitchen is, I love to cook, and boy, did I have fun cooking in that kitchen. It is so perfectly laid out. And you know how people always kind of congregate around the kitchen. And so the kitchen was designed to be the heart of the house. And it's got a three-sided bar. So a chef or, who's ever the cook of the day can just have so much fun cooking in that kitchen. They've got pull-out refrigerator doors and pull-out pantries and overhead cabinetry, built-in bar with a built-in ice maker and a coffee center and two dishwashers. I mean, it just is. It was like cooking. My idea of cooking in a commercial fine restaurant kitchen.
Right, right, and thus the opportunities for entertaining, whether it's simply for yourself and your loved one, or your family, or having many guests over, whether it's for vacation, Thanksgiving and holidays, or having again corporate retreats and having people there. And then also just to emphasize again that the though it is the Eagle Cliff quote unquote lodge, it is a private residence. And further and talk about, along with everything you just touched upon so well, Trudi, in regards to now that we're discussing the grandiose internal aspects of the Columbia River Eagle Cliff Lodge, is the spacious office wing, the multiple fireplaces, the spa with a steam room. I mean, the
spa with the steam room is like icing on the cake. I mean,
exactly right.
It is absolutely. And it's in a private setting with a private shower. So that if you're there as a guest and you want to use the spa, you're not, even though you have to, enter the spa by walking through the great room. It's once you're at the spa, it's just a totally private, isolated section of the house that affords you the privacy that you would want. Any person would want. The master bathroom, likewise, is the master shower with a soaking tub and frosted glass, oversized walk-in shower. There's absolutely beautiful tile, inlaid tile, Italian tile flooring in the master bath, built-in closets, built-in cabinetry, drawers, walk-in closets, his and her closets. And then the master bedroom just like overlooks the whole great room. And part of that is like from LD, he dreamed of living in a barn, and so he designed the most elegant barn structure on the planet. And but you still, even you have privacy as a guest in one of the bedrooms. Uh, the house is filled with soundproofing, and so you would think that you would be able to hear somebody upstairs in the master bedroom, uh, uh, but you don't. I mean, I could be in one of the guest suites and uh, never ever hear what's going on outside, even though there's an frosted glass door entering into the bedroom suite. So there, there was nothing overlooked, and everything has a place and was specifically designed. It wasn't a design as you build structure. And it's very obvious. You can see, oh, well, let's add this, but it wasn't initially incorporated into the structure. And that's where I think my appreciation for the house is that everything was well thought out, planned ahead of when they actually broke ground to build it. It did take them 3 years to build, and every single finish detail in that house was custom designed. Custom designed cherry cabinetry, custom design iron balusters that are, have this beautiful viney leaf floral aspect to it. The water wall is truly amazing, and it's been so meticulously maintained that just recently discovered that there were some water spots on the granite ledge at the bottom of the water wall, and so we went up and hand chiseled certain rocks on the water wall so that the water would flow down and not leave spots on the bottom of the granite bench that is at the bottom of the water wall. It just is, and to this day, I mean, they're living there and they're maintaining it. So much love and enjoyment has been generated at this property, and a lot of times when sellers decide that it's time to move on, then things kind of start to get overlooked, and that's not the case. Any buyer who would happen to be fortunate enough to buy this property, it's move-in ready, and I have to say, if you have to anybody listening, if you have any desire to live in the Northwest, you need to check this property out. You need to be there. You need to walk through it. For any qualified buyer, I could certainly make arrangements for overnight stay. Feeling is believing, and the feel of this home supersedes any other home I've ever walked into.
Very well said, Trudi. Thank you very much. And along with all you just said, a few final notes is, again, just looking at the beautiful 2-page spread, the landscaping is absolutely spectacular and impeccable. And further, I wanted to touch upon that. We've mentioned, you said it very well. You've used the words privacy, isolation, etc., in correlation with if you're having guests there or groups and whatnot. That being said, it's also an ideal location, and this is coming from someone who, though he very much enjoys speaking with people and previously used to love entertaining and being around a lot of people, doesn't like to do that anymore. And so it's an ideal location as well for a very, I shouldn't say ideal, exceptional location and opportunity, the Eagle Cliff Lodge private residence on the Columbia River in Longview, Washington, for someone to achieve absolute privacy and seclusion and peace on their own or with simply their loved one or their family or whatnot. But so the opportunities are boundless with the Columbia River Eagle Cliff Lodge. Again, a private residence, ColumbiaEagleLodge.com. Trudi, it is always such an honor and a pleasure to speak with you, and thank you very much for taking the time as the lifelong friend and consultant of the Smiths to discuss this opportunity for that most fortunate buyer that will have the opportunity and ultimately be living there. Is there anything I didn't ask you that I should have, or anything we didn't discuss that you'd like to touch upon before I let you go? Because I know you are incredibly busy.
All I would say is take the time if you as a buyer are interested in relocating to the Northwest. If you live in the Northwest area and are looking for that perfect home setting, the Eagle Cliff Lodge is worthy of your time and attention. Anybody wanting to schedule a private showing, they can do so by contacting Kathleen Doherty-Falk, the listing broker. She can readily schedule a private showing. Likewise, if somebody is interested in arranging a stay at the Eagle Cliff Lodge, they can contact me directly or contact you, Jed. You have my direct contact information, and I can help facilitate that kind of a situation. Feeling, the feelings that you get there are unequal. It's such a tranquil setting, truly a sanctuary in today's world.
I love that. Truly a sanctuary in today's world. That very well said. Thank you, Trudi. Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, especially you taking the time on this Friday, July 1st, the kickoff of the 4th of July weekend in the States. So thank you, Trudi. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Again, it's the Columbia River Eagle Cliff Lodge, a private residence in Longview, Washington, ColumbiaEagleLodge.com. Take care, Trudi. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Jed. Bye-bye.
Bye.